Ladies and gentlemen, gather close, because today we're stripping away the masks and exposing raw truth, no filters, no pretenses. I see you. Every single one of you who's been played, manipulated, discarded like you meant nothing. Why? Because you had the audacity to defy the rules they imposed. You dared to raise your head, lock eyes with those who think they hold power, and refuse to be just enough. And for that they hate you. Not because of what you did, but because you refused to kneel. You refused to let them control your life, to bend your spirit to their will. You stood tall, too strong, too free, too real for them to handle. What did they crave? Control. Control over your mind, your identity, your vision of yourself. They wanted to turn you into something they could manipulate, a tool to feed their insatiable thirst for power and validation. But you saw through it all, the lies, the games, the need to dominate, and you walked away. They can't stand it. They thrive on control, on diminishing others to feel superior. But you had the nerve to say, not today. Not with me. In that moment, you became their worst nightmare. They hate you not for what you did, but for what you didn't do. You didn't break, didn't submit, didn't feed their ego. They wanted to mold you, to make you dependent on their approval, to twist your reality until you doubted yourself. But you saw through the cracks in their facade, noticed the insecurities hiding beneath their false confidence, and you refused to play their game. You exposed them for what they truly are: fragile, insecure creatures who depend on controlling others to feel secure themselves. And that eats them alive. The worst part for them isn't losing control, it's knowing that you saw the truth and still walked away. Narcissists can't handle being exposed. They live behind carefully crafted masks, playing the victim, pretending they're the ones who've been wronged. But you, with your sharp vision, pierced through their illusion. You saw the cracks, and that terrifies them more than anything else. They can no longer manipulate your reality, can no longer make you doubt yourself. And now, whenever they think of you, all they feel is rage. Rage because you were strong enough to see through the act and call out the monster lurking behind their mask. They've spent their lives pretending, sculpting a version of themselves meant to confuse, to make you believe they were the victims when in fact they were the ones pulling the strings. But you saw the truth, and that's something they will never forgive. People like them live for appearances, for the illusions they create. By refusing to play along, you stripped away their control, and that destroys them. Narcissists are trapped in an endless search for something they'll never find. They spend their lives trying to fill a void that consumes them, but can never be satisfied. Deep down, they are weak, insecure, and desperately dependent on controlling others to feel any sense of power. When you left their world, you left a void they will never be able to fill. Sure, they'll find new victims, new games to play, but none of it will give them the peace they crave. They don't even know what they're looking for. They don't understand true love or genuine connection. While you've freed yourself from their toxic cycle, they remain trapped, endlessly spinning in a web of control and deceit, chasing something they'll never attain. And the worst part for them? Knowing they lost someone who saw through the lies, someone who cared but refused to be part of their game. That loss will haunt them forever. They will never find another like you, someone who defied their manipulation, someone too real, too strong to be used. But here's the real victory. It's not in hatred or revenge. It's in the peace you found by walking away. While they remain stuck in their own chaos, desperate for control, you've moved forward with your head held high, free from the shadows they cast over you. They may try to rewrite the story, paint you as the villain, but the truth is unshakable. You stayed true to yourself, you resisted their games, and that's the sweetest victory of all. While they drown in their own lies, you've risen, stronger, wiser, and most importantly, free. Let them stay trapped in their illusions. You've won. You've gained the ultimate prize, freedom. The cycle is over, and now you walk forward in peace, while they twist in their own destruction. In the end, the only thing that matters is that you stood firm, with your integrity intact. They may try to spin the narrative to make you the villain in their play of lies, but you know the truth. You refuse to be controlled. You refuse to be molded. And that, my friends, is the purest victory of all, the peace of knowing you stayed true to yourself. Now let them keep their shadows. You are free. And with that, I close for now. But before we truly close this chapter, Let's take a moment to reflect on what this all means, not just for them, but for you. You didn't just survive, you thrived. You didn't let their attempts to tear you down define you. In fact, you rose higher than ever. You are a testament to resilience, to strength that comes from within. And now you carry something they can never understand: the power of self-ownership. They wanted to make you feel small, to box you in, to silence your voice. But instead, you discovered the depth of your own power. You realized that their game was never about you, it was about them. And now you are free of their chains, free to live your truth, without the weight of their toxic grip holding you back. Understand this: your greatest strength wasn't just in walking away, but in reclaiming your sense of self. You now possess something they will never have: the peace of knowing you don't need anyone's permission to be exactly who you are. They wanted to control your narrative, but you took that pen back and started writing a story they could never script. That's what terrifies them. Not your defiance, not your refusal, but your freedom. Because nothing is more dangerous to people who thrive on manipulation than someone who cannot be controlled. And here's the truth that burns them the most deep down. They envy you. They envy the light in your eyes, the unwavering strength in your heart. They envy the fact that you no longer orbit around their needs, no longer feed their ego. While they remain stuck, trying to convince the world they're the victim, you're out there living, thriving. You've learned that the real power lies in letting go of everything that tried to break you. You've learned that the greatest revenge isn't revenge at all, it's indifference. The ability to look at the chaos they create and feel nothing. To walk away, head held high, without even glancing back. Because here's what they'll never understand: freedom isn't just the absence of chains, it's the presence of self. And now you stand tall, unchained, unbothered, untouchable. You've stepped out of the shadows they cast over your life and into the light of your own truth. Their attempts to break you, all it did was build you, stronger, smarter, more resilient. And now you are a force they can no longer reach, no longer manipulate, no longer touch. Let them keep spinning in their web of lies, searching for their next victim, their next game. It won't matter, because you're no longer playing. You've transcended their need for power, and in doing so, you've stripped them of the very thing they cherished most: control. They will never have power over you again. The grip they thought they had has slipped away, leaving them desperate, empty, and haunted by the memory of someone who saw them for what they truly are. So, as they stay trapped in their endless cycle of deceit, you move forward lighter, freer, unstoppable. And remember this: they may have tried to break you, but what they did instead was reveal your true strength. A strength that scares them. A strength they'll never understand. A strength that now defines you. You've already won. You walked away without needing to prove anything to anyone. You don't need revenge because, in your peace, you've already achieved the ultimate victory. Their chaos can no longer touch you. Their games no longer matter. You've risen above, and that is a truth they'll have to live with for the rest of their lives. And so, with that truth firmly in your grasp, you walk into the future powerful, unshaken, and free. Because the greatest victory of all is living your life on your terms. The chains are broken. The cycle is over. And you, my friends, are finally free.